Our story starts in the 1980s when Vince McMahon Jr. bought the World Wrestling Federation from his father. Back then, wrestling was split into different territories across America, with each region having its own promotion. But Vince had bigger plans. He wanted to take WWF national. To make this happen, he signed the biggest star in wrestling, Hulk Hogan, who had gained fame from his role in Rocky III. Hogan became the face of WWF with his say your prayers and eat your vitamins message and his superhero bodybuilder look. His famous match against Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3, where he body-slammed the 520-pound giant in front of over 90,000 fans, became one of wrestling's most iconic moments, but Hogan wasn't alone. The Golden Era also gave us legendary stars like Macho Man Randy Savage, known for his incredible promos and intensity in the ring. Ultimate Warrior brought explosive energy, while Million Dollar Man Ted DiBiase showed us what a perfect bad guy looked like. The masterstroke came in 1985 when McMahon created WrestleMania, which was wrestling's answer to the Super Bowl. He brought in celebrities like Mr. T and Cyndi Lauper, creating the rock and wrestling connection with MTV. This moved wrestling from smoke-filled arenas into mainstream entertainment. Soon after, WWF established what fans now call the Big Four pay-per-views, adding the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series to join WrestleMania. Wrestling was everywhere during this time. Hulk Hogan appeared on talk shows, starred in movies, and even had his own cartoon. The business was booming, and WWF had successfully transformed from a regional promotion into America's premier wrestling company. But as the 90s approached, things would change. A steroid scandal was brewing, fans were getting tired of the same old stories, and WWF needed fresh faces. The Golden Era was ending, and a new generation was about to take over. The New Generation era began in 1993 as WWF faced serious challenges. A steroid scandal hit the company hard, with Vince McMahon himself facing trial. While he was eventually cleared, the damage was done. With Hulk Hogan leaving for WCW, WWF needed to rebuild around younger talent. Enter Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels. These two technical wizards led the charge, bringing a different style than the bodybuilder look of the 80s. Hart, with his pink and black attack, became known as the excellence of execution, while Michaels broke out from his tag team days to become the Heartbreak Kid. Their rivalry would define this era, giving us classic matches and stories with real-life drama. Other stars like Kevin Nash brought size and power, Razor Ramon oozed machismo, and The Undertaker continued his supernatural dominance. WWF also launched Monday Night Raw in 1993, giving fans weekly television that would become the longest-running weekly show in TV history. But competition was fierce. WCW, backed by Ted Turner's money, started signing away WWF's biggest names. When they launched Monday Nitro in 1995, the Monday Night Wars began. WWF had to innovate to stay in the competition and gave us groundbreaking matches like the ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon at WrestleMania 10. The era would end dramatically in 1997 with the infamous Montreal Screwjob, where Bret Hart lost his title to Shawn Michaels in controversial fashion before leaving for WCW. This real-life betrayal would change wrestling forever, and with their back against the wall, the WWF was forced to embrace a more adult-oriented product. As 1997 ended, WWF was losing the ratings war to WCW. They needed something drastic. On December 15, 1997, Vince McMahon appeared on Raw and announced that the era of saying your prayers and taking your vitamins was over. The Attitude Era had begun, and it would change wrestling forever. The catalyst for this change was none other than Stone Cold Steve Austin. After his famous Austin 3:16 speech at King of the Ring 1996, Austin's anti-hero character connected with fans like nothing before. He drank beer, flipped people off, and defied authority. Exactly what audiences wanted in the late 90s. His feud with Vince McMahon, who played the evil boss character perfectly after the Montreal Screwjob, became the hottest storyline in wrestling history. When Austin faced Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 14 with Mike Tyson as the special referee, WWF finally started turning the tide in the Monday Night Wars, but Austin wasn't alone. The Rock transformed from a failed babyface into the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. His catchphrases became part of pop culture, and his charisma was unmatched. The Rock and Austin's rivalry would headline multiple WrestleManias and draw record ratings like never seen before. Meanwhile, stars like Mankind, aka Mick Foley, showed incredible dedication to the sport, putting his body on the line in brutal matches such as his infamous Hell in a Cell match encounter versus The Undertaker, where he was thrown off and through the cage in one of wrestling's most shocking moments. DX pushed boundaries with their rebellious attitude. The Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness added an ominous edge, while tag teams like the New Age Outlaws, the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudley Boys revolutionized tag team wrestling with their TLC matches. The content became edgier, with more violence, mature content, and controversial storylines. Writers Vince Russo and Chris Kresge crafted shocking TV that kept viewers guessing, and Raw's ratings soared, with segments reaching over 8 million viewers. World Wrestling Federation went public on the stock market, launched SmackDown on UPN, and became a mainstream phenomenon. This period revolutionized wrestling and brought it to heights it had never seen before. Raw regularly beat popular TV shows in the ratings, wrestlers became mainstream celebrities, and WWF merchandise was everywhere. The Attitude Era created memories and moments that fans still talk about today, from Austin spraying the corporation with beer, to The Rock's This Is Your Life segment, to Mankind winning his first WWE Championship. WrestleMania 17 in 2001 marked the peak of the Attitude Era. The Rock vs. Stone Cold Steve Austin main event, ending with Austin's shocking alliance with McMahon, happened just weeks after WWF bought WCW, officially winning the Monday Night Wars. World Wrestling Federation was now undisputed as wrestling's top company, but success brought changes. Sponsors wanted cleaner content, and injuries forced Austin to reduce his schedule. The Rock started transitioning to Hollywood, and the failed Invasion storyline with WCW and ECW stars left fans disappointed. When WWF became WWE in 2002 after losing a lawsuit to the World Wildlife Fund, it symbolically marked the end of the Attitude Era, which many fans still consider wrestling's peak period. With The Rock leaving for Hollywood and Stone Cold's injuries piling up, WWE needed new stars. Vince McMahon announced a new direction on June 24, 2002, calling for ruthless aggression from his wrestlers. One rookie took that challenge seriously. John Cena, who made his debut against Kurt Angle, declared that ruthless aggression was exactly what he had. But before Cena became the face of WWE, another newcomer exploded onto the scene. Brock Lesnar, who was dubbed as the next big thing, dominated everyone in his path. Within 6 months of his debut, he became the youngest WWE champion in history by defeating The Rock at SummerSlam 2002. Lesnar's combination of size, speed, and amateur wrestling background made him unlike anything fans had seen before. The roster split between Raw and SmackDown created new opportunities. SmackDown became known for its wrestling quality, particularly thanks to the SmackDown 6. Meanwhile, Raw was built around Triple H and his stable Evolution, which included Ric Flair, Batista, and a young Randy Orton. Speaking of Randy Orton, he became the Legend Killer, targeting WWE's greatest stars. At just 24, he became the youngest World Heavyweight Champion by defeating Chris Benoit in 2004. Batista emerged from Evolution's shadow, turning on Triple H and winning the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 21 to become one of the biggest stars of the company. John Cena transformed from a rapper character on SmackDown into WWE's new top star. His Doctor of Thugonomics persona gave way to the Marine-saluting, never-give-up hero that would lead WWE for the next decade. Cena won his first WWE Championship from JBL at WrestleMania 21, marking the beginning of his reign as the face of WWE. The era was also marked by the return of Shawn Michaels in 2002. After a 4-year retirement, HBK proved he hadn't lost a step, having classic matches with Triple H, Kurt Angle, and Chris Jericho. His rivalry with Kurt Angle, particularly their match at WrestleMania 21, showed that technical wrestling excellence was still alive in WWE. Eddie Guerrero's journey became one of wrestling's most inspiring stories. After battling personal demons, he captured the WWE Championship from Brock Lesnar at No Way Out 2004. The in-ring style during this period was intense. Matches were physically demanding, combining the technical wrestling of the new generation with the excitement of the Attitude Era. The first Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 21 created a new concept that would launch many careers in the years to come. The company also tried to revive ECW as a third brand in 2006, though it never captured the spirit of the original. Despite this misstep, WWE continued to grow, with both Raw and SmackDown delivering strong ratings and pay-per-view business remaining healthy. As 2008 approached, the company faced pressure from sponsors and mainstream media about its content. While not as edgy as the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression period still featured blood, intense violence, and mature storylines. In mid-2008, WWE would soon make a big change, seeking broader appeal and better sponsorship deals when all WWE programming was shifted to a TV PG rating. Gone were the blood, explicit content, and edgy storylines. The PG era had begun, and not everyone was happy about it. John Cena became the definitive face of this period. His colorful merchandise and never give up message appealed perfectly to younger fans, though older audiences often rejected his character. Even his finishing move was renamed from the FU to the Attitude Adjustment to fit the family-friendly direction. Cena dominated WWE's main event scene, leading to what some fans called the Super Cena era, where he seemed almost unbeatable. But in the summer of 2011, everything changed when CM Punk delivered his infamous pipe bomb promo. His match against Cena at Money in the Bank 2011 became an instant classic, with Punk winning the title and blowing McMahon a kiss as he left through the crowd. This moment briefly brought back the unpredictable feeling of previous eras and caused many fans to return to wrestling. The PG era also saw the rise of several new stars. Sheamus debuted and quickly won the WWE Championship. Alberto Del Rio became the first Mexican-born Royal Rumble winner. The Miz went from reality TV star to WWE champion, headlining WrestleMania against John Cena. Daniel Bryan transformed from an independent wrestling star into a mainstream sensation, though his biggest moments would come in the next era. Despite the PG rating, WWE still produced some compelling storylines during this period. Notable feuds during this period include John Cena versus Randy Orton versus Triple H, and The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. The Nexus invasion, led by Wade Barrett, started with one of the most shocking moments in Raw history when they destroyed everything and everyone in sight. The summer of Punk brought a sense of reality back to programming. Also, The Rock returned for a dream feud with John Cena that would span 2 WrestleManias. Behind the scenes, WWE was evolving. They launched their developmental territory NXT, which would eventually become its own beloved brand. The company increased its focus on anti-bullying campaigns and charity work, with John Cena setting records for Make-A-Wish Foundation appearances. But not everything worked during this era. The anonymous Raw general manager storyline dragged on without a satisfying conclusion. Guest hosts of Raw often felt out of place, and the push of certain stars like Jack Swagger and Alberto Del Rio didn't connect as strongly as WWE hoped. The PG era marked a significant business change too. The WWE became more corporate, focusing on building a family-friendly global brand rather than edgy entertainment. While some fans longed for the attitude of previous eras, WWE's business thrived with new sponsorship deals and international growth. Daniel Bryan's popularity was exploding out of WWE's control. The Shield debuted, introducing 3 men who would shape WWE's future. As 2014 approached, fans were demanding something different, and this set the stage for the next chapter in WWE's evolution. The reality era officially began in early 2014, but its seeds were planted months earlier. After CM Punk walked out following the Royal Rumble and fans repeatedly hijacked shows chanting for Daniel Bryan, WWE could no longer ignore the changing dynamics between performers and audience. Triple H acknowledged this shift on Raw, dubbing it the reality era. Daniel Bryan's journey to WrestleMania 30 became this era's defining story. Bryan overcame the Authority, beating Triple H in the opening match and then defeating both Randy Orton and Batista in the main event to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The Yes Movement had triumphed, proving fans could change WWE's direction. But WrestleMania 30 marked another historic moment. Brock Lesnar defeated The Undertaker, ending the Deadman's legendary win streak. Lesnar would go on to dominate this era, demolishing John Cena at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship in what many saw as the symbolic end of the PG era's superhero champion. The Shield's breakup changed the landscape too. Seth Rollins turned on his brothers, aligning with the Authority and eventually cashing in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania 31 in what became known as the heist of the century. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns went their separate ways, with WWE positioning Reigns as their next top star. Behind the scenes, the company was revolutionizing how fans consumed wrestling. The WWE Network launched, offering every pay-per-view and a massive content library for a monthly subscription. NXT evolved from a developmental territory into a beloved brand under Triple H's leadership, showcasing a more athletic, wrestling-focused product. It delivered critically acclaimed matches and helped establish stars like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Finn Balor. The reality era was shorter than most, but it marked an important transition. WWE could no longer ignore online fan reaction or pretend kayfabe was intact. Storylines began incorporating real-life elements, and the line between script and reality became increasingly blurred. When WrestleMania 32 set an attendance record with fans booing Roman Reigns after his win over Triple H, it was clear WWE was ready to move in a new direction once again. The new era began in May 2016 with WWE's second brand split, separating Raw and SmackDown rosters once again. This period saw WWE pushing new stars and evolving its product, particularly in women's wrestling. The term divas was retired and female performers began receiving equal spotlight to their male counterparts. Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch led this revolution, breaking barriers with first-ever women's Hell in a Cell, Money in the Bank, and Royal Rumble matches. The evolution peaked when Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey made history by main-eventing WrestleMania 35. On the men's side, Roman Reigns continued his polarizing rise as WWE's chosen top star. Despite strong in-ring performances and improved promos, fans remained divided on the big dog. Meanwhile, AJ Styles, after years of being the best wrestler outside WWE, proved he could be a major star on wrestling's biggest stage. His WWE Championship reign on SmackDown, particularly his feuds with John Cena and Dean Ambrose, produced some of the era's best matches. This period also saw an influx of international and independent wrestling stars. Finn Balor became the first Universal Champion, though injury cut his reign short. Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe brought their hard-hitting style to the main roster, and Shinsuke Nakamura's charismatic presence added a unique flavor to SmackDown. Down in NXT, new stars like Johnny Gargano, Aleister Black, and Adam Cole were creating magic, with the black and gold brand often outshining the main roster in match quality. The Shield members remained central figures on the main roster. Their occasional reunions drew massive reactions while their individual storylines often dominated both brands. But this era also featured some of WWE's most questionable decisions. Jinder Mahal's surprise WWE Championship reign failed to create a new star. The Universal Championship struggled to feel important with Brock Lesnar's part-time schedule. Some promising NXT call-ups failed to shine on the main roster due to inconsistent booking. But in March 2020, everything would change once again. As the pandemic shut down the world, WWE refused to stop producing content. First, they moved shows to the empty Performance Center. Then, in August 2020, they introduced the Thunderdome, a state-of-the-art setup featuring virtual fans on LED boards surrounding the ring. The Thunderdome era forced WWE to innovate. Without live crowd reaction, the storytelling had to adapt. Roman Reigns returned with a new heel persona as the Tribal Chief, becoming the most compelling character in wrestling. His alliance with Paul Heyman and dominance over the SmackDown roster proved you didn't need crowd noise to tell great stories in the ring. Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship victory over Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 36 should have been his crowning moment in front of thousands. Instead, it happened in silence at the Performance Center. Yet WWE pushed forward, producing cinematic matches like the Firefly Funhouse match and The Undertaker's final bout against AJ Styles in the acclaimed Boneyard match. This period ended in July 2021 as live crowds returned, starting with Money in the Bank. The Thunderdome era, while forced by circumstances, showed WWE's ability to adapt and survive, even in uncertain times. As crowds returned in mid-2021, WWE faced unexpected changes that would reshape its future. During summer 2022, Vince McMahon, who had controlled WWE for 4 decades, stepped down amid controversy. This led to Triple H taking over creative control, while Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan became co-CEOs. The product began showing immediate differences. Long-term storytelling improved, match times increased, and previously released wrestlers returned. Fans noticed a shift toward more wrestling-focused content, with less scripted promos and more creative freedom for performers. But bigger changes were coming in the years to follow. In early 2023, WWE announced its sale to Endeavor, the parent company of UFC. The deal created TKO Group Holdings, marking the first time WWE wasn't controlled by the McMahon family. Despite fan concerns, Triple H remained in charge of creative and continued his vision for the product. During this period, Roman Reigns' dominance as Universal Champion continued, while Cody Rhodes emerged as his primary challenger. The storytelling became more nuanced, building toward what would become one of WWE's most anticipated matches at WrestleMania 40. In April 2024, Triple H officially declared a new era had begun in WWE. Cody Rhodes dubbed it the Renaissance Era after defeating Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40, ending the Tribal Chief's historic championship reign in what many called a perfect story culmination. This era represents WWE's return to long-term storytelling. Under Triple H's creative leadership, the company has found a sweet spot between sports entertainment and pro wrestling. Matches are longer, promos feel more natural, and storylines pay off in satisfying ways. The era is also marked by exciting partnerships. WWE's collaborations with TNA, Pro Wrestling Noah, and other promotions have opened forbidden doors, creating fresh matchups fans never thought possible. The move of Raw to Netflix in 2025 shows WWE's commitment to evolving with modern media consumption. Production values have evolved. Gone are the shaky cameras and rapid cuts, replaced by a cleaner, more sports-like presentation. The focus has shifted back to making the in-ring action feel important, while still maintaining the spectacle WWE is known for. Through all these changes, one thing remains clear. WWE has never stopped evolving. From Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant, to Stone Cold stunning Mr. McMahon, to Cody Rhodes finishing his story, each era has brought something unique to professional wrestling. Over 40 years, we've seen wrestling transform from a territorial business into global sports entertainment. Each era reflected its time, and as fans, we can only speculate what the next chapter of WWE will bring, but it's sure to be exciting. If you enjoyed this journey through WWE history, make sure to hit subscribe. Drop a comment letting us know your favorite WWE era, and share this video with any wrestling fan who needs a trip down memory lane. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.